NBC27 Digital Now Center. This is Beyond the Forecast with your most accurate local meteorologists.
And we say good Monday morning, everybody. Believe it or not, it is indeed Monday. We made it through the weekend, and a weekend that featured, some storms, some showers, some storms, some high humidity again on Sunday, but we got through it, didn't we? And finally, we had a pretty nice stretch of weather here in August so far that didn't really feature anything too exciting. Well, in fact, some of us, our lawns are getting brown, and we're begging for some rain. We did get a little bit of rain yesterday in spots, but again, very hit or miss, right? Who got the rain and who didn't? And so that has been the case here for a lot of us this summer. Some areas getting pounded with flash flooding, other areas begging for rain, and that is going to continue to be the case. Let's start today, though. A big change overnight. Clouds have rolled in across the region, and a different air mass has rolled in. Cooler, breezy this morning in places, and a bit less humid, too, as we will check out the dew points. But this is Camp Hill. From Kinzers to Camp Hill, it is overcast. The sun fading behind some clouds this morning, and all things considered, again, it is nicer. We're just not seeing a lot of sunshine, and I think that is going to be the case early this week with the sun fading to some clouds. And we have some clouds coming in from the northwest. We've got low clouds coming in from the east, and it is going to be overcast here for, I think, the first 3 days of this week before we get some sunshine to return by Thursday. But look at temperatures dropping off into the 60s for many of us, still close to 70. And we've got the bigger cities of Philly, Baltimore, and D.C. sitting in the 70s. But, you know, the dew points here, check this out. We've got drier air that is really making a push now into the mid-state. Low 60s. It's been a while since we've had dew points this low, but we can see the difference. Look at Allentown. Look at New York City. Dew points in the 50s for those places, and there's the breeze I mentioned here. Winds from the northeast and coming in from the Atlantic at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Philly and Allentown, 10 to 15 miles an hour. You'll notice it if you step outside, a little bit of a coolness to the air this morning, especially after yesterday when we hit 92. There's the rainfall yesterday. Not impressive at the airport, less than 1/10 of an inch. We still have a surplus on the year. The record high today, 97. And that will stay safe. With these clouds overhead, it is not going to be all that warm today. Check out the temperature graph. It is staying in the 70s today, likely low to mid-70s. So, again, a big change from what we've been through. And part of the reason for this is high pressure is in control across Canada. And notice the northeast flow around it. That is going to draw in some of this cloudy and cooler air here from the coast. And so because of that, I don't really expect any rain, but with that type of a flow, we do expect some clouds. The best chance for a shower will come on Wednesday, thanks to this front here, and that's going to get closer to us. That's also the front that's going to help to kick out to see Hurricane Erin. So let's watch on Precision Cast what we can expect. Clouds push in today. Notice there's some shower activity here off to the south and east of us as well. It will be interesting. Some models want to bring this to the north. We'll take a look at that coming up too. But for the most part, I think we stay dry until maybe Wednesday when that secondary front pushes in, kind of a weaker cold front. Tomorrow, same deal, cloudy, cool, temperatures in the 70s, maybe a sprinkle. And then Wednesday with some better forcing, maybe a shower. Precision Cast doesn't love it a whole lot. Let's take a look here if we can. I want to bring up our one model run right now, which is the NAM, and that is, of course, one of our higher resolution models. So let's pull that up on the screen for you because I want this to kind of play out what we expect will happen over the next couple of days. There's that rain showing up, mainly south and east of us, but this did have some showers kind of pooling up into the region tomorrow. Here they are tomorrow evening, maybe a stray shower. I don't know if it's worth mentioning, but this certainly has some shower activity overnight Tuesday into early Wednesday, and then sort of a kind of a rainy, misty start to the day on Wednesday. So how will that pan out locally? That's the question. Do I expect a lot of rain early this week? No, but there will be some moisture around during the second half of tomorrow and early Wednesday, and I will be interested to see sort of how that plays out over time, and we're gonna get into that. Let's get back to our Precision Cast here, showing you it's got the same idea, but will that moisture reach the surface or not? We'll find out. Highs today getting into the low to maybe mid-70s, but if you can look at this too, again, look at these eastern areas. I mean, it really sort of handcuffs the temperatures today, and I buy that. I mean, with this east wind and the clouds, it's going to be tough to warm up. Temperatures dipping into the low to mid-60s tonight. That's a big change. Probably more comfortable sleeping weather, and then highs barely getting above 70 tomorrow with the clouds and the east wind. Let's see if Precision Cast has the rain. It does point out that we could get maybe just a hair, just a little bit of rain, just a sprinkle or some drizzle perhaps later Tuesday into Wednesday. That's really about it. But the forecast for the next 3 days will be cloudy and cool with highs in the low 70s. That's it. Dew points, too. Look at the difference here. Dew points staying below 65 degrees for the extended forecast. We've had dew points in the 70s, and as I've talked about before, that is when we feel atrocious. The air is so heavy, so thick, and we will not have that type of air mass around for maybe the rest of the month, which is good news. Okay, here's the setup. Let me do my best John Madden and tell it straight for you. Here's the cold front for Wednesday. All right, so you got this cold front here, and what this is going to do is it's going to maybe trigger a couple of showers Wednesday, but it's also going to be the mechanism that forces Erin to make that turn away from the coast and, boom, push it out to sea, right like that on Thursday. Now, looking at our weather, we're going to get some drier air pulled in, okay, behind this hurricane. So I think Thursday and Friday look much nicer with some sunshine, some comfortable temperatures, and then our next chance at some unsettled weather will be over the weekend. Here comes another front Saturday and Sunday. And as that front gets closer, it might spark off a shower Saturday or some afternoon storms on Sunday. So a heads up, some of you might have weekend plans. It might be the last weekend before school for many of you. And while it's not going to be a washout, it could be a bit unsettled as we move into especially Sunday. So that's a heads up for this weekend. But let's talk about Erin now. I promised we would track it, and here it is. It's a big storm. It's a monster. A Category 4, winds at 130 miles an hour, slowing down just a bit, moving to the north and west at 13 miles an hour. The pressure is falling, 945 millibars. So it's a pretty juicy storm that is going to produce some waves along the coast, some tough storm surge in the islands across the Carolinas, but it is also going to pull away from the shore points and weaken as it moves into the North Atlantic late this week. So it's going to go from a major hurricane to a Category 2 sitting offshore by Thursday and Friday. So good news there if you live along the land. 73 today, cooling down. Maybe a bit breezy thanks to an easterly wind, especially if you live east of the river. Cloudy tonight, much more comfortable at 64. And you'll notice here some stray showers Wednesday from a front. I think it warms up really nicely Thursday and Friday, and then unsettled next weekend with that front. But the other thing you'll notice, look at that 7-day forecast. No 90s. And I think for the extended outlook, we really get a break from the high heat and humidity finally as we move into these last 2 weeks in August. Let me show you the temperatures right now here if we can. Hold on. I'm going to try to get there if we can with our long-range temperatures. Okay, hold on. Stand by. We're going to do this. Stand by. We're going to get there. I promise, okay, that as we get there, we're going to show you temperatures. Just hold on. Hold on. You know, technology's great. I just got to figure out how to pull them up. Here we go. Now let's do it. There they are. Temperatures. Thanks for bearing with me here. It's a Monday, folks. Temperatures over the next 7 to 10 days will not hit 90 degrees, and this takes us out through August 28th. And we see no 90s. In fact, the heat will peak over the weekend as we get that front to move through, and then we cool off again next week. Now, this is the NWS blend of models. Let's go to the European. And that pretty much tells a similar tale. The heat will peak on Friday and Saturday. We cool off again early next week into the 70s, and then maybe we get a little more heat by Labor Day weekend. That would be nice for some pool parties to end the season, right? And as we get the Penn State home opener on August 30th, some warmer air for that might not be a bad thing. But this shows no 90s, no heat waves, and really nothing that would concern me in terms of a prolonged heat or humid air mass sitting over top of us, which I know many of us are thankful for. Let's go to dew points because, again, we want to look for higher dew points. So this, as you can see here, keeps us in the low 60s today and tomorrow with the clouds. Look, this even drops us into the 50s for Tuesday. Now, by Wednesday, dew points trend back up, but I still don't see any 70s. Look at this, Thursday and Friday. There's that dry air getting pulled in behind air. And look at that, dew points in the 50s perhaps on Friday. Does the humidity return over the weekend? Not really. Even with a surge in moisture ahead of the cold front, dew points are staying fairly low. And then next week, look at this. Oh, refresh. Look at this. I'm seeing blues. I'm seeing refreshing air. I'm not seeing dew points returning to the 70s anytime soon. Oh, how good is that going to be? I'm ready. I know you're ready. Fall just around the corner, but we're not talking about chilly air. We are talking about, though, much more comfortable air to be outside. No washouts in the forecast, and dew points dropping a bit heading into these final 2 weeks of August. Feels great to me. I'm meteorologist Brett Thackara. This is Beyond the Forecast. Thanks for watching, everybody.